Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. TammyTalks here. So let's go ahead y'all and get into Real Housewives of Atlanta season 14 episode 2, all aboard the Gaslight Express. All right. If you're brand new to my channel, thanks for tapping in. If you are a repeat person, repeat viewer that is not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do breakdowns of various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So if you enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel, thumbs up the video, and then hop into the comment section, y'all, so we can talk about everything that happened on this week's episode of What the Hell is Wrong with Drew? Basically. All right, so the episode starts off with Sanya, and we see that her sister has moved into her house as well. So when she moved to Atlanta, she brought over her mom and her dad for sure. It's her husband, her son, and then her sister's husband, and then their two kids. So the plan is to have them live there for about a year, and then hopefully they decide to stay because they like Atlanta that much. Her sister does her hair, her mom manages her, so they are really just kind of a one-stop shop within their family. They all work together, so it'd be easier for her if they were in the family, or excuse me, if they were in Atlanta with her, because she like relies so much on them for various things with business, and then to help out with her son. So things escalate super quickly, right? So it's like I guess Sonya's mom went to Jamaica, and she brought back all these boxes of beef patties. And apparently they have been breezing through them in the house. So Sanya kind of feels that, everybody's eating them up so fast, everybody's eating everybody's beef patties, and it turns into an argument. So then her mom is on some, I'm not gonna have nobody yelling at me, telling me what I can and cannot eat, giving me restrictions. It's hard when you're an adult and you're living in someone else's house where you now have to follow their rules. And that's basically what Sanya and her sister, I'm sorry, what Sanya's mother and her sister are saying. So her sister is like, yeah, it's getting, it's going to be an adjustment period to not having my own space, to now kind of having checks and balances as an adult to what I'm doing, when I'm in the house. For whatever reason, their mama was in a mood. And her mom was like, well, you're not the only one. This is an adjustment for everybody. And it's like, mama, nobody said it wasn't, but like she's talking directly to me. So it's a learning curve for everybody. All the adults in the family have to come to a mutual understanding that this is a difficult, very delicate situation for all of them. I'm sure the three boys are excited to have a playmate at all times. All right. So then we have Sheree. So Sheree's basement is now finished, which means that Sheree's house is entirely finished. So Kenya is coming over. The two of them are going to hang out. So Kenya said that she cannot even hate on Sheree because that basement is fabulous. And chef's kiss. That basement is dope. Wow. Like Sheree's house in general is amazing, but that basement, wow. Like Sheree never has to leave the house to go do everything. Everything she could possibly want to do or need to do is like it's a lounge, it's a spa room. Like it's a theater room. It's a really, really, really amazing basement. So they have they're eating some fruit. And they talk about Marlo's event. And Sheree said that Marlo was talking about Kenya and how she had a white refrigerator and how she was borrowing Lisa Ray's Range Rover. Kenya said, what's wrong with a white refrigerator? My rent was being paid on time. And yes, that is the important part. As far as like the whole Lisa Ray situation, Kenya says she doesn't know Lisa Ray like that. Of course, production, who has been on it this season, posted up a picture of Lisa Ray and Kenya together. Now, it is just a picture, and Kenya did say she doesn't know her like that. Now, she didn't know her at all, just not like that. So, who knows what the real truth is behind that? But it was like Marlo was just being very reactionary because she felt that everybody was throwing shade at her and hating on hating on her event. So Kenya was like, yeah, Marlo was just on one. She talked about Drew's little bun unnecessarily and said that Marlo had chia pet implant edges. The way I cackled during that scene, because even though we all laughed at the French bun, right? It was like theme appropriate. I remember going to prom and I definitely had a French bun with like waterfalls. That is going to show my age, but I definitely had a French bun and or French roll and some waterfalls. So I feel like Drew's hair was appropriate for the event, right? So Kenya then tells Sheree that her and Drew share an assistant. And Drew caught Candy, so already mess. Drew caught Candy and told her that they have the same assistant. Candy suggested to Drew that she needs to call Sheree and clear this up sooner than later. Let her know so that it doesn't come from a third party a la Kenya, and we don't have, you don't have to worry about any unnecessary drama. So apparently, Drew has a number of assistants. Sheree has a number of assistants. So Sheree said that assistant is just somebody that she uses from time to time when she needs somebody quick, fast, in a hurry. That's not like her definite assistant. So Drew, I guess, shared that Sheree still owes the assistant money. So now Sheree is upset because she feels like Drew needs to be worried more about herself and not worried about her business. And Kenya was like, yeah, because, her husband is messing around with the assistant, like, just like piling it on, piling it on. And Sheree is like, she needs to be worried more about what her husband is or is not doing, as opposed to worrying about what's going on with me and my assistant and being all up in my business. So the bone collector had a bone placed ever so gently right in her lap, and she didn't know how to deal with it. So then we pan over to Drew. Drew and Ralph are talking about how the event went, and Drew tells him that Candy found the Instagram of his assistant. So Ralph is like, yeah, I was connecting with Todd. It's great to have somebody that like really understands me, has the same mindset as me. And I'm like, Todd ain't out here gaslighting and cheating on his wife. I don't know if he really understands you, but okay. So Drew brings up that Candy found Instagram, and Ralph was like, I fired her. Drew said, okay, but do you guys still talk? Ralph says, I didn't tell you we would stop talking. I told you I fired her, which I feel like is even more of an issue. So you fired this woman, but you still feel the need to talk to her and be friends with her? Like, Ralph, or no, Drew, knock, knock, sweetheart, what is going on? So he then goes on to be like, she's a 50-year-old woman. Why are you so like threatened by her? So he's like gaslighting Drew in this moment. If no one else has a problem with her, you're the only one that has a problem with her, like adding insult to injury. So in the confessional, Drew said that everyone is telling her that Ralph is gaslighting her, but she doesn't think so. So then Ralph is like, he's around a lot of women, and you have it out for the assistant. So then Drew says that she doesn't think Ralph is gaslighting her, no. But she also doesn't know what gaslighting means, which is concerning at her age. But she doesn't know what gaslighting means. So as she's reading it, we get this black and white montage of all the times that Ralph has gaslit her. Drew feels that he just puts her into, what did she say, like the tumble cycle where he just kind of talks in circles. So Ralph was like, look, if you want me to never talk to the woman again ever or whatever, be done with her, cut her off, say the word and I'll do it. Drew said, no, you should respect me and respect our marriage enough to make that decision for yourself. I'm not going to say it, and then it comes out that you missed out on some opportunity as a result of it, and then you resent me because of that. He sits up there in his big square head ass and tells her that I resent you for a lot of things already. She laughs it off as if it's a joke, as if it's. Oops, she laughs it off as if it's a joke, as if it's funny, as if that's a normal thing that a husband, or that for that matter, that anybody would say to their wife. So we pan over to Candy. Candy is in her kitchen and she's talking to her producer from her Broadway play. Todd walks in, and they begin to talk about how Candy's going to be back and forth to New York now because of this play. She's one of their, I think she's like part of like, I think she's one of the producers of it or something like that. And she tells him that she's going to need his help. And when he's out of town, it kind of disrupts the flow. So Todd has been taking little vacations, and like just kind of hanging out. So he's going to Miami for the weekend to just, I guess, to hang out, just to get away. And he tells Candy, like, don't you think when you're gone for months at a time, that disrupts the flow of things too? But Candy said it's different because she's there for work. She's not going out of town to hang out. Todd doesn't see it that way. Candy feels that when they first got together, they were doing a lot of things together. And now that they're starting to do some more, now that they're starting to do more things separate, that Todd kind of feels away because he's not included in some of these things. They then go down to look at their pool room that is unfinished. Candy admits to being a person that kind of never finishes her house, but Todd is saying how a lot of the extra furniture and stuff that they're not using there in the pool room, he can send up to Jersey because he owns a condo there. Basically, 20 years ago, he was in a relationship with a woman. They bought a condo together, and they bought a condo together. They broke up. She never refinanced it and got his name off of it. So he ended up having to pay off the condo. So he now owns it. Candy wants nothing to do with the condo because that's the spot that he had with, his ex. He feels that Candy, when they first got together, she didn't even bother to get a new mattress from all the dudes that she was fucking and sucking in there. I said, oh, probably should have got a new mattress. I kind of feel like she did, but it was still a moment. So he now has this condo in Jersey, and Candy was like, well, my name isn't on there. He was like, my name isn't on this house. You can have a key if you want to. Candy doesn't want anything to do with the condo. We pan over to Marlo. So Marlo goes to see Candy. Candy is doing a Halloween photo shoot. And Candy tells Marlo that she loves how well she's doing with the boys, how cute they looked in their suits, and she told her that she enjoyed the event. She was just personally curious about how she paid for it. But that's something that Candy always is. She's always wondering how things are getting paid for, things are not getting paid for, where's the money coming from. Marlo feels that, the boys are kind of stressing her out because it's kind of new territory for her. She doesn't always feel like she knows what she's doing. And she's also kind of worried about the fact that she doesn't want to, spoil them to the point where if something were to happen to her, they don't know how to grind and get it on their own. Candy brings up a very, very valid point of, Marlo's nephews are going to school with these kids that are 16, 17, and driving a Benz is standard for them. That's normal. So why isn't that our black kids need to understand struggle to feel like that is their normal? Why can't them driving the Rolls Royce and driving the Benz, why can't that be normal for them? And that's a very, very, it's a very good point because that is definitely a problem here in America with black people, where we do feel like you kind of have to struggle in order for that to be your normal. Like, if you can afford to outfit your kids with that type of normalcy, do it. Do it. Make sure you teach them, how to survive and how to do all the other things in case the money is gone. But it should never be a case of, I'm going to make them go without or make them feel bad because they now have more, or because they have more than some other black kids might have. That's not how that should work. Marlo then goes on to say she loves and appreciates how Candy sends them the birthday presents and stuff like that, but she wants Candy to be more hands on. Because it takes a village to raise a child. She wants Candy to invite the boys over to hang out with her kids. And I said, you mean Ace, who's what, 5? And then Blaze, who's like 2? Who are they hanging out with? Okay, so Candy kind of said, well, Marlo, you have to be the type of friend that you want. Very poignant because a lot of people don't necessarily understand that. So basically, it was Marlo, you don't invite me to your house. We don't have that type of relationship. Candy said that she knew Marlo from because Marlo used to date somebody she was friends with. And when Marlo got on the show, she started being very shady towards Candy. She started treating her a different way, which we know because after watching the show, has always been trying to like clock Candy for some reason. So Marlo is just like, well, invite the boys over. Candy said, you don't invite me to your house. So Marlo then said, well, come over tonight. Candy said, I got to take off all my makeup. No, I'm not about to just come over your house because you want me to start inviting your boys over to mine. That's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. Okay? So then we have Drew. Drew is doing a drop it with Drew. And Sanya calls her, and Sonya calls her, and Drew was like, I'm doing drop it with Drew, you should be here. The way Sonya cackled at her, because we know that she don't really see it for dropping it with Drew, or Drew working out in any type of capacity. We then see Ralph tell Drew to keep her schedule clear, because he has something planned for her, and they need to get back to where they were as a couple. I said, all right. We then see the guys. The guys on the show are hanging out. So we have Ralph, Todd, and Ross, who is Sonya's husband. So they're hanging out at Blaze. Ross talks about wanting another kid and how Sonya is not really on board with it. But he asks Todd, how does it work with Candy being so super busy? And Todd was like, we're doing the best that we can. That's all you can really do in a marriage. So... Oh shoot, did I throw that away? Sorry, I just started something. So then we have Todd that brings up the assistant situation to Ralph. Ralph is trying to lie his way out of it and was like, that's not what I said. I was just saying, like, I'm a man because, like, sometimes men don't, like, take medicine. And they were like, yeah, okay. Okay, he was using semantics. I didn't say man, I said guy. Like, Todd was clowning him, but in the end was like, I'm just messing with you. But like, no, I wanted Ralph needs to understand how stupid that sounds. Ralph also then says that Drew should have never been in his phone. I've always said if you go looking in somebody's phone, if you go looking for something, you're going to find it. So no, she shouldn't have been in his phone, but that doesn't give you license for what you were doing. That's stupid. And your supposed reasoning is stupid. If you have to do that much to explain what you meant about something in any given moment, then it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. We then see Marlo getting her nephew ready for his homecoming. Michael, he's going, so she's trying to show him how to dance, and he's so stiff and he's nervous. Marlo's telling him, like, this is how you dance, loosen up a little bit, because he was really stiff. She's telling him keep some distance. Like, it was a very cute moment. And Marlo is basically saying that she wants to create some memories for him because her best memories came from foster care. So she wants him to be able to look back in 10 or so years as an adult and say, I remember my first homecoming. I was living with my aunt. She went all out, and she wants him to have like just that really good memory of someone caring and being as excited about something as small in like your high school career as homecoming. So then we have Drew. Drew gets surprised with flowers the entire day. Ralph is doing little flowers, and her glam team comes, and all these different things are being set up for her for this romantic dinner. She gets to the dinner, And Ralph is saying how, he wants to have this time with them so that they can just have a really good night. And Drew brings up, yeah, we want to make sure that we're not just having a bunch of high highs and low lows. And as soon as Drew said that, in that moment, you could see Ralph flip, and like he's out of the mood of whatever he had going for that day. He immediately flips. Um Ralph said, yeah, because for so long that his order, the order of how he's putting things in importance and what to focus on, has put himself last. So his order now is going to go God, him, and his wife. Now, I'm not married, okay? But I'm pretty sure your spouse should come before you. I'm pretty sure your spouse should come before you. But again, I'm not married. Maybe I'm wrong, okay? So Drew was like, you think that I was before you previously in how you were doing this? Ralph says, yes, he does. Drew said that she always felt like she had to suppress her feelings, her reactions to things, because she didn't want his wrath. His wrath is so bad, the wrath. She said that even now she's walking on eggshells because she doesn't want to be the one to ruin the night. And I feel like that's something that Ralph should have took in and really thought about. My wife feels that she cannot fully express herself or express herself in any capacity because of my wrath. She didn't say your anger. She didn't say your reaction, your response. She said your wrath. Do you understand how angry and pissed and jarring your reaction to something has to be for someone to call it wrath? So Ralph said that why can't we just enjoy the night and save that conversation for marriage counseling? He then said that he is going to schedule a session for her with the therapist so she can learn how to talk to a man. So Drew said, okay, well, I will schedule a session for you to learn how to talk to a woman. Ralph brings up that she is a tit for tat type of person. Drew brings up that the marriage therapist called him a maniac. He immediately gets pissed and said, you don't even know what a maniac is. Drew goes to Google for the second time this episode to get the definition of a very basic word that an adult should know the definition for. And she repeats back the definition of what a maniac is to him. And Ralph fit the description of a maniac, but he instead tries to flip it and tells her she doesn't know what a maniac is. She doesn't even know what the definition is. She's interpreting it wrong. Okay? So now Ralph is pissed. He tells her, why don't we just enjoy the night? She feels that if her not being able to express herself is preventing them from having a good night, then what the hell are they doing? She then begins to cry. She gets up and leaves the table. Ralph is now pissed. The whole evening is shot to shit. The entire evening is shot to shit. All that good looking food is whatever now. Because now you're crying and you're pissed over what? Because she wants to talk about the state of your marriage. Should it have been saved for a different night? Why can't we? I think the real issue is why can't they talk about, or why can't Drew talk about their marriage, the state of their relationship, how they communicate with one another, the disconnect they're having, without you getting so pissed about it? One, I think it's because Ralph doesn't want to look bad on camera, and Ralph feels that Drew is making him out to be a villain. And two, Ralph doesn't want anybody to hold him accountable for the fuck shit he's doing. So Ralph then says that tonight was not the night to have this conversation. He now feels that he does too much. That's his problem. He does too much. I do too much for you. He then says that he's going to stop. Okay? And he now regrets doing all of this all together. Drew, you need to be divorced by the time the reunion comes. You need to have been having filed for divorce, separated, moved out the house, something. Because if this is all for TV, like a lot of people think that Drew and Ralph have kind of put this kind of like created this like rift in their marriage just to have TV drama. If that is true, y'all better hope that it doesn't carry on into your real life. And then two, if this is actually how your marriage operates, this is insane. This is insanity. Doing the same thing repeatedly, and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. Drew, you are insane for thinking your marriage is going to work. You are doing the same things over and over with Ralph and expecting a different result. Look up that definition, Drew. Insanity. Let me know what you guys felt about this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up the video, and I will holler at you guys in the next one.